is Reagan Brown, and I was the project lead for this project as we made our board game, BREECH. We are Blue Fiber. So I'm going to start off with for you guys. Our society depends upon engineers to design every aspect of our lives. Where we live, what we drive, how we communicate, and many other things. But America's primary and secondary education systems aren't producing enough critical thinkers to keep up with this demand. Engineering instruction should be built on young students' natural problem-solving skills to prepare them for future generations of critical thinking. Kids learn about the natural world in science classes, but what about the human nature and the human-made world built around us on top of it? The buildings, the vehicles, and essentially every technology that we use and spend our time on all day, every day. This world constructed by engineers rarely appears in the curriculum before your first years of college, so early college. With that in mind, we, Blue Fiber, have created BREECH to address this problem. An interactive cyber security board game that educates middle school students on a variety of engineering disciplines and allows them to apply it to real-world issues today, such as hacking.
Hi, my name is Taylor Verma, and I'm the head researcher for the group project BREECH. By 2023, there will be a hacker attack every 39 seconds, and roughly 220 billion devices will be connected to the internet. Our main goal for this project was to educate students, especially middle schoolers, about the STEM fields and how they can prevent loss of information by exposing the ways that criminals use these methods. Criminals will steal estimated 33 billion records by 2023, including personal information like credit cards, social security number, address, and your name. And then, because of this, 60 million Americans will almost be affected by identity theft. This information can be stolen from ways like hacking, farming, spyware, and computer viruses. Since society is becoming increasingly demanded on the amount of technology, we have decided to create this game to prevent and expose the methods of which these criminals gain access of your information. In addition, we hope to educate the middle schoolers about the STEM fields and the various engineering disciplines so that they can become interested in preventing these criminal ideals.
Hello, my name is Josh Matthew, and I'm the head of logistics for Blue Fiber. For our game, we establish criteria and constraints, and the criteria are competitive element, clearly stated instructions, low cost, and middle school appropriate. For competitive element, we want our game to be fun for players. It will use the competition to achieve that. This competitive element will help hook our players in to keep on playing the game instead of quitting. For clearly stated instructions, we want to define our instructions clearly so that the players are more able to properly gain the roles between each member in a smooth motion. For low cost, we want to manufacture the cost of our board to be low, which would also allow the game to price to be below most games. For middle school appropriate, we want the level of fun and knowledge to be appropriate for middle schoolers, and we don't want to have any profanity or stuff like that. For constraints, we had it for scalable across disciplines, style, and content. For our disciplines, we wanted to make sure that the chemical engineering, civil architectural engineering, computer science, computer electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering were all featured in there. For style, we needed the board to be presentable to the youth and help catch their eye. And for the content, we cannot make the board game like anything that we choose, like Monopoly. We have to make it educational that helps interest the students and also teach a lesson about engineering. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Trey Durden, and I'm the lead secretary of Blue Fiber, and I will be explaining the rules and materials to you. Let's start with the materials. We have 3 cop game pieces, 3 hacker game pieces, federal building in piece, board, cop cards, hacker cards, and wild cards. Alert! Alert! Hackers have attacked the BREECH City Federal Building database, and it is up to the BRPD to stop them. Let's begin the rules. Each player or team of cops versus hackers has to reach the federal building before the other team does. Each person will have 3 lives for the whole game. If a player runs out of lives, they are denied and sent to jail, where they must wait 2 turns before proceeding and answering a wild card question correctly. On each hacker or cop card, players are asked questions regarding different issues that are happening throughout the city because of the hacker's presence or actions the cops take to stop them. The tasks and issues are attributed to how different parts of the city are being affected by the fiasco and how an engineering discipline is addressing them. Both cops and mobsters will have to draw their cards each time they move. The number of spaces that they move is determined by the card. Their cards can either subtract and or add onto the number of spaces that they move. If they go behind the start because of this, they will lose a life. If they land on an unknown tile, they will have to answer a question about cybersecurity for a wild card from a wild card. If they answer incorrectly, they will either lose a life or move back a certain amount of spaces. Wild cards will cause interaction between the teams, and both teams will be asked a question about an engineering problem and that needs solving. First team to answer a question will advance in the way that the card specifies, and the team that does not will lose in the way that the card specifies. First team to reach the federal building wins.
Hello, my name is Saeed Muhammad, and I am the co-operator of design and prototyping. In our design, we hope to develop a board game no bigger than 25 by 25 inches so that it's easily portable. And we came up with 3 possible prototypes that we will show you today that have a few pros and cons that can contribute to the success of the game. In the first prototype, we have a traditional style type of prototype by a 25 by 25 board game. In the center, you can see will be the federal building, which is the main objective to get to in the game. And then right here we have 3 card slots, one for the cops, one for the hackers, and one for the wild cards. Each piece is cubed off too. There's different sections which will be different objectives in the game. Right. In this style of gameplay, we thought that the players may have the basic interaction of passing by each other. It shows importance because it does decrease the span of the game time by a tremendous amount compared to other styles. But it also does make the game less appealing because this is a typical way to play a board game. There's also the problem of having the appeal to the younger audience, which does mainly focus on the color scheme that is chosen. To address these issues, if we are to build this prototype, we will possibly incorporate more travel spaces in the game and use the extra space of the board game to do so. Also, we will want to add more colors to the game and make it more interesting.
Hi, I'm Takira Brown, and I'm co-prototype design. And this prototype is in a circle. The cards are off the game board. There is no space. There are 3 card positions, cop cards. There are hacker cards and wild cards. This style of board is something that is often not used in games now. This allows us to hook the player onto the game. What is good about this style of play is the path winds down until you reach the center, causing the board to be maximized in space. But this is also a problem because the cards are set off the board, making it an inconvenience for the players. Another problem is that it would be hard to show when players can go on to the next level. To address these issues, we can make a clear stepping up in the travel way of the board game. Also, we could incorporate an area for cards that can be connected to the board game to take away the issue possibly losing cards.
In conclusion, we at Blue Fiber want to stick more to our first prototype, making it really fun for the users and making it accessible for them as well and not as complex. So we want to stick to a normal travel way around the board game, also having a part on the board for our card game pieces and as well as our actual game pieces, hackers and cops. I think that this will be a really great thing for students to learn about different engineering disciplines, showing them how they can apply it to a real world issue such as cybersecurity and hacking. You know, in this age of technology, we want our kids to be well aware of the dangers out there with these things that they use all of the time. So we hope that BREECH will be a great way of educating students on different engineering disciplines and using real world problems. Thank you.